What's up, everybody? Welcome to Two Old Souls, the show where we talk about the movies, the shows, the music, the people, and most importantly, the memories that keep us young. I am one of your hosts, Michael, and I just breathed in the vapors from a cough drop I'm having right now, so if you hear me sloshing around a little bit, it's because I'm trying to keep myself going, because it's that time of year where it's hella cold. And with me, as always, is Andrew. How are you doing, Andrew?
Oh man, boy, this Yoo-hoo sure is good.
You know what else is good? Smoking dope. I'm not gonna rat on you. I never. That's what. As far as I know that's something we've talked about before. Is like childhood snacks and drinks. That's actually something I didn't grow up on. Kids would bring Yoo-hoo to school, but I never. Yeah, I never got that. I was a Nesquik kid. I would drink Nesquik at home, but that's it.
Okay, I'm for sure a Yoo-hoo dude, but I think the common misconception is that Yoo-hoo is chocolate milk, where it's
what is
chocolate.
it?
It's chocolate drink.
Chocolate.
So have you ever?
Okay. Well,
It's like
okay.
chocolate water, dude. That's
Sure.
pretty much.
I mean,
like what
Nesquik
it is.
is too. I feel like you can barely call that milk, really. I mean, it's cold. Like,
It has the
it's
texture
pretty good.
of milk.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
Have you ever had Milo? That.
No, that's
Choc-
another thing. That's another thing I didn't grow up on. Like, that's
It.
pretty big in the Philippines still.
It's it's on par with that as far
Okay.
as taste.
Okay.
know. But you haven't had either of them, so fuck.
No, I haven't. So maybe I'll have to do a little like review video or something like that at some point.
That's your assignment by the next.
That would be pretty damn fun.
podcast.
That would be pretty damn fun. Actually,
Just
do
if
a
you're gonna
live.
get Milo, get the can. Don't get the mix because that shit doesn't really work.
So canned Milo, and then like Yoo-hoo comes in bottles and cartons, right? Like little juice boxes.
well,
Because that's how I saw kids drinking it.
Yeah, the bottle is like the way to go, but I mean, like the carton is. It's not the same, but it still does the trick.
I tried to make my own Frosty at home, but it just wasn't the same. All right, man. So what have you been? Do you have what's been new with you? How were your holidays?
Holidays were good. I didn't really see anybody, but I got this sweatshirt that I'm wearing. It's pretty comfy.
Oh, that looks pretty damn comfortable.
I spent New Year's in San Francisco, which was nice. Ate some chicken parmesan for dinner.
Oh my
Some
god.
French toast.
Damn, that sounds
some
good.
Martinelli's apple cider. You know they have that shit in the clear bottles now. Like
You
it's
mean
like
plastic
the actual,
bottles?
No, it's like the glass one, like the green.
Oh
one,
yeah, they're like
but
jugs.
it's clear now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like, not jugs. It's like it's like a champagne bottle, but it's clear.
Oh really? Okay.
And I'm wondering if that's to like not confuse kids by accidentally grabbing a Corbel bottle at home.
Yeah,
'Cause
probably.
That's definitely happened to me growing up.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, everything's good, man. My
That's
music's
good.
out. Whatever.
Right on.
Everything.
Right on.
Same
Right on.
old thing. What about you? How's your holiday?
Yeah, holidays were chill. I just stayed in with my family. We just ate way too much, and we watched Wonder Woman 84, which I do not recommend. And Soul, which I did recommend.
Oh, yeah. I watched Soul as well.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
It was good. It's like not. I mean, it was just the exact animated existential crisis that I guess I needed right now. I didn't really realize that, but it is what it is. Yeah. All right, so enough talking about new stuff. Let's talk about some old stuff.
Enough about the good shit.
Enough about. Well, yeah. So
The stuff that sells.
exactly. Well, actually, one of these things actually made quite a bit of money. So today we're gonna be doing. This is a new sub series we got for you guys. We'll do this periodically. So this is gonna be let's call it round one or. Well, not that there's really a competition. It's just fun to call things round one. So this is round one of what we will henceforth, forevermore, call Shitty Movie Showdown. Andrew, for the folks at home, why don't we lay down some parameters? Like, what exactly defines a shitty movie to you?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I would say anything that like is commercially not memorable. I guess.
So maybe a flop. Maybe it flops a little bit or doesn't make that much money. Low budget, low gross.
I like a lot of these movies. When I watch movies, I really look for and this is gonna sound funny because reviewing these movies doesn't really match that, but I really like writing in the movie. The special effects don't really do much for me. I
Not
can't
so much,
really
especially,
get over something if I'm just going ooh and ah the whole time. So I really like dialogue. I really like plot lines. And a lot of these, like, I like really obscure movies too. So I think a lot of those kinds of movies fit into like a quote shitty round because they're not they're not really visually stunning or visually pleasing at that. The acting is really corny in a lot of them. Really bad editing. You could see like really noticeable cuts.
You can tell, yeah. Usually due to some behind the scenes drama or some budgetary constraints and stuff.
Outlandish things happening in the movie, like someone kicking someone's ass that shouldn't ever win. Just things like that.
Daffy ass casting, things like that.
Yeah, nothing that's. It's really hard for me to really kind of narrow it down. But I guess how about you? Let me think about it a little bit.
I think you kind of hit on you kind of hit on everything. Yeah, it's like it's not necessarily something that you would recommend to a sort of a person with, I guess, conventional taste, I guess is the word.
It's not
I'm
for
looking
casual. Nothing. Not for casual audiences. You know.
Like it's hard. I think some of this stuff you have to have already seen when you were younger, when you were more impressionable, or maybe like it just left some sort of mark on you, and you can't really shake it, and you can't really explain why that is the way that it is, but it's still there and it still sticks with you. And I think both of these movies do that for us. So I'm really curious to see where we're both coming from.
And I'm actually like really kind of sad that I missed out on the one that you chose growing up, because it fits into my like
it actually does
criteria of good shitty movies.
Yeah.
You know?
So the funny thing too.
I love it. I think I love it more than my pick now. I need to watch it more,
okay.
It was really good.
Okay, let's get right into it. So it actually just like the stars just so aligned that both of our picks today are both early mid 90s adaptations of very popular video games of their era. So let's just keep all of that in mind into it. Already, the video game movies, there's already like an implicit expectation that it's gonna be shitty. But
and I'm probably started around this time with these movies. I think these pave that, and with like other video game movies, I think these really made it the norm for video game movies to be not good.
It set the bar as
because
low
of that,
as that maybe. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, these were the precedents right here.
Yeah. And, again, we're calling it Shitty Movie Showdown. I'm only saying it's not a competition per se. We're all winners, or in this case, we're all losers here. If everyone's a winner, no one's a winner. But if everyone's a loser, no one's a loser. So it's a very even field to be playing on.
Like alliteration too.
Yeah, I live and die by that. So
maybe we could give the say which movie would be better quote, but I don't think it matters.
Categorically. Yeah, all right, sure. Why don't we start with your pick then? So tee it up, insert the coin, 2 coins because it's a 2-player game. Make sure you hit both of those player buttons. Take it away. What do we got? What's your favorite? What's your shitty movie for round 1 of the Shitty Movie Showdown?
So round 1 for the Shitty Movie Showdown, my choice was I think it came out in 94.
Yeah, but I feel like it was filmed in like 91 and didn't come out for a while, man.
Yeah, it looks very Ninja Turtles era, but
yes,
it's Double Dragon based on the video game, starring the dude from Party of 5 and our favorite Mark Dacascos.
Philippines own Mark Dacascos and Alyssa Milano, man. Show a little love
Alyssa
there.
Milano.
Alyssa Milano sporting an Eminem ass looking haircut.
And she does a lot of martial arts, which is great.
Does she in this?
There's a couple scenes towards the end where like they have that big fight at the end, and she's with that green water in the middle of their little stadium. But she's doing like spin kicks and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I suppose I'm a little just distracted by she's wearing what looks like arm length oven mitts for most of the last third of that movie. And we got Robert Patrick from Terminator 2, the T-1000 himself.
Which is funny because like he doesn't really look like Robert Patrick.
Well, no,
you could totally tell it's him.
He has that Vanilla Ice haircut and the goatee and everything, and like he's like Guy Fieri and Vanilla Ice put together.
That's a very good
with like hammer
depiction.
pants, wearing hammer pants.
Or a trench coat, yeah.
Oh
yeah, the hammer pants is perfect. I think of like the top Tupac wears with Snoop Dogg. It's like this suit. You'd have to see the picture. But that's my pick.
For sure.
Takes place in Los Angeles, but they call it New Angeles.
Yes.
I don't remember the year, but it's probably around this time.
2007. So the video game is very. I think it's your standard. So there is they're brothers in the video game, right? Yes. So like brother martial artist Billy and Jimmy Lee, and I think one of their girlfriends, Marion, gets I think in one of the first versions of the video game she's actually just killed,
Okay.
Like maybe in one of the home versions, or either the home or the home port or the arcade version. So in one version she's killed, like shot, and you know it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, so you're trying to beat 'em up, everyone up to avenge her. In another one she's just kidnapped. So you're just making your way to rescue her. Fairly standard video game procedure. This one,
She's
time
badass.
in the movie they turn it into this like, what did I say? It was it's like a Total Recall meets Mad Max meets The Warriors, kind of post-apocalyptic.
Oh yeah, it has that look, and there's a shitload of cameos in it too. Like
Yeah.
well, I guess just to paint the picture, it takes place after there's this big earthquake, I guess,
And,
that
yeah.
really kind of ruined California or the U.S.
Like caused widespread flooding throughout the world, probably, but mostly it's Southern California because that's where this movie takes place. So it's a little bit of water world thrown in there.
Yeah, so much so that they had to call it New Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Like I think this movie made me really appreciate that kind of dystopic
That
feel
aesthetic.
about movies. Yeah. So that was a big part of it. And they're just kind of surviving on that. They live in a rented movie theater, which is pretty tight. And their car runs off like burning.
Dude, it's like Back to the Future.
Shit.
They just put garbage into the thing.
It's pretty cool. Like that stuff used to, tickle me when I was younger. So it's really, I thought it was like really innovative. It's very low budget, you could tell.
They made this movie
maybe
the
not.
budget was $7.8 million. I looked it up.
Yeah, that's not very much, but I like what they did with it. A lot of good fighting scenes, I think, in my opinion. I think like the choreography is a little more than like what you might expect. I think it's pretty good.
I will say I will give it to Mark. I was gonna say I will give it to Mark Dacascos because he was like an actual martial artist, and you could tell like he was just kind of trying to break into movies with this, and he pulls some. I think there's like a junkyard fight because most of movies like this had a junkyard. It had to have a junkyard fight, and he's just standing on an overturned fridge, and it can't be more than 2 feet off the ground, and yet he decides the best way for him to continue making his way through this group of people. You know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to make the sentence as long as possible. He decides, hey, I'm gonna do like a fucking front flip just because I can. And I'm like, this is very Power Rangers right now. Like,
but they put the effect on it to where it looks like slow motion, but since it's such a small distance, he looks like he lands so hard.
Yeah, but they still put the front flip sound effect. That,
I think I'm just gonna ruin it now because I'm definitely gonna forget. There's a scene like that in Street Fighter, where like the car is being chased and then Jean-Claude just does this fucking jump over a box for no reason.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, and they shoot it super
like
low to make it. They always shoot that stuff super low to make it look like the character has like fucking.
You just hear him
just like superhuman. Yeah, and the ADR in these movies is insane.
It's great.
Well, I was gonna say, so Mark Dacascos was carrying the team, but so his other brother, and mind you, these brothers, I believe. We're supposed to believe that they're of Asian descent with the last name Lee. And the other thing, I'm going to backtrack real quick. So the video game was this standard revenge story. This has to do with the brothers trying to they find out that they're in possession of one half of this mystical amulet that Robert Patrick, who's changed his name to some to honor some Japanese warlord so he could be more imposing, wants both halves of the Kogashuko. AKA Victor Geisman, because the whole time their adoptive mother's just like Geisman. And it's so anyway, we're led to believe that these are two martial arts brothers who are ostensibly only a year apart, but one definitely looks more Asian than the other. And it's not the one whose last name is Dacascos. Oh, it is well, you know what I mean. Yeah, Scott Wolf, just like name. Scott Wolf. The Party of Five guy. Like, and you could tell like he was supposed to be kind of like the charm. He's the younger, more impetuous, more charming one. He kind of gives off like a Jason Mars. He's like a cuter looking Jason Marsden, kind of.
He definitely plays the role well. In my opinion, I think like he was meant for this role and nothing else. Yeah,
but the thing that just distracts me like hell is like so again, Dacascos is Filipino and like a pretty brown Filipino at that. they totally spray tan Scott Wolf to match DeCoscos. I'm like, this motherfucker is not that dark. It's really distracting.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. And then
That's pretty
actually, yeah. And then actually, it's kind of like, again, bringing it back to Wonder Woman. Let's just bring it forward real quick. Gal Gadot is Israeli, right? So she just naturally talks like that. But as a result, all the other Amazon women, they all have to talk like this too, like Diana, you must get the sword in the armor or whatever it is. And it's just so, yeah. If you just watch Wonder Woman, like the first one, it's just a bunch of other women trying to imitate an Israeli accent, and it's really distracting. But yeah, actually, back to Double Dragon. I realized it's actually a similar dynamic as the Super Mario Brothers movie, where Luigi is kind of the young idealist, and the elder brother, he's always trying to be responsible, but it's fucking funny because he's like, their home theater gets blown up, their adoptive mother is dead, and he's like,
quit feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah, and he's like the older Jimmy is the older one. Jimmy's like, we gotta come up with a plan. And then Billy's like, enough with the plans, you're always planning and I'm sick of it. And I'm like, that's not really a bad thing, especially right now in the position that you're in.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I kind of want to touch on the cameos, because when you mention these scenes, I just think of like that one of the villains, with like one of the ones that wear the suit getup. He ends up having like the box attached to his fucking ponytail. But he's like one of those little Asian guys from he's like a villain and everything.
Isn't he the one? Yeah, isn't he's the one who like electrocuted Merton Riggs in Lethal Weapon? That one.
Yeah. He think he was in big trouble with Little China in some parts. Yeah, that guy's in it.
He was just the typical Asian thug in every movie from the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
The dude from Hills Have Eyes was in it, I think. When he tries to get all them gang members together, and he's having that speech, there's that guy that's in there. He's like, I don't want to do this or whatever. Then he force chokes him. Then there's like Andy Dick is in it.
Yeah,
Vanna White's in it.
Vanna White.
Like,
so that, yeah.
I've never heard her talk, and only in this movie I've ever heard her talk. So I'm sure there's other ones. I can't remember who else, but it just.
Well, they make reference to the fact that Madonna was getting divorced to Tom Arnold. So it was like the idea was, like all of these people are still going to be really relevant in 2007.
Right. And maybe Madonna was. I think she had an album.
I mean, Vanna White. I mean, Wheel of Fortune was still a thing, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where some of that like Paul Verhoeven satirical kind of RoboCop Total Recall vibes kind of come in, and a little bit of Frank Miller a little bit. So it's like you could tell they were trying to have some fun with it. And actually, I looked up who wrote this, and I think I knew some of this, but it had two writers, one of whom wrote a lot of fantasy novels and stuff. So that was Neil Shusterman, but the other screenwriter was Paul Dini, as in Batman the Animated Series, Paul Dini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So very interesting gig. Yes.
Well, it's not a badly written plot or anything. I think it's a pretty well done.
The pieces were there, but I think they just had so little to work with their budget.
The execution is very questionable, but they really get ambitious with it. Like the technology they try to use. The villain, this Boa Bobo.
Dude, let's get into Boa Bobo for a second.
That's like cool to me.
It's so he's just this like, there's this whole gang of like people with mohawks or something, and he's like the big heavy out of all of them. And then he gets kidnapped by the bad guy, and he gets subjected to all these like steroid injections. Mm-hmm. To the point where, again, I was like, this dude looks like he walked out of the set of Total Recall. Like, he's just all roided out, and it's just, it reminds me, I feel like I'm watching Tusk again, frankly, when I look at him.
Yeah, I mean, after he goes through the transformation, it's like very, I don't know, it's like horror movie almost. Like, the effects they try to use with him.
It's very body horror, for sure. Yeah.
I think my favorite part is when... He's in when they have him captured, when Alyssa Milano's crew captures him for questioning.
The Power Core, bro. Show a little respect.
Core, yeah. That's what they're called. Yeah, the Power Core. And he's locked up in the bathroom, and he finally sees himself in the mirror, and he gets upset, and he gets so mad. The only thing he does is he rips the sticker off, like super clean, of the mirror, and then he rips
They probably didn't have money for movie glass.
Right. It made me laugh.
Candy glass dish. Right?
I never noticed that before. I was like, it's such a because such a humanizing and moment, and you feel bad for him, and then it just
Another
ruins
thing
it.
I'm noticing now, a trend, like all of these video game early 90s video game movies feature some like horrific transformation for somebody, because I'm like, he's basically the Goomba of
Yeah,
this
yeah,
movie,
yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
really need to watch that movie again.
I got
I
you. I have
probably
to.
need. I gotta
I'll let you
borrow
borrow
your
it.
copy. Yes,
Or go
absolutely.
to Amoeba. They had two
Yeah.
copies left, I think. So you might
Yeah.
want it out.
Did you notice that first car chase with where the Mohawks are chasing them? They go through the same tunnel as the car chase in Mystery Men. When they
Oh no,
when they
I
chase
didn't
down
realize that.
Casanova's Corvette limo, is the same exact tunnel.
Oh shit! What
Yeah,
city is that?
it's L.A.
Is it LA? Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty tight. That's a
and
deep
then
cut.
yeah, and then I think the like boat chase or whatever was just some random lake in Ohio or some shit. And the one thing I will give for this movie is I'm wondering how much, because again, I'm sure everything costs more now, but back then, like pyrotechnics you probably weren't that expensive, because there was like a decent amount of explosions in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Probably. I mean,
I was gonna say, I was like,
didn't think
there's
about
like they
that.
blew up the movie theater, they blow up
Right.
a
Right.
bunch of stuff on the water.
I think the house they were in blows up before they get in the boat.
Uh-huh.
Like when they're locked in that little cabin. I
Yeah.
think, don't they blow that little thing up while they
Yeah.
speed out of there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. What else? What else?
Well, I was just gonna turn attention to like how distracting it is that it looks like Scott will, and they probably didn't have a great budget for like choreography or whatever. So like DeCosco's probably like figured out his stuff on his own because he was already a martial artist. But it really looks like they made no effort to make Scott Wolf's character look like he was anywhere on par with his older brother, because his fighting is just so much more stagey, and he's doing a lot of the thing where I'm gonna hold both my fists and swing them at you because I think that's gonna make my hit land all that more powerfully.
Yeah. He was way more of like the.
He was a scrapper.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But I don't know, man. This movie really stuck with me because I saw it when I was younger. I would always watch it. I just like the dynamics they had. Like I think the gangs really stood out to me. Like those clown gangs.
I liked that.
There's like that reoccurring Mohawk dude that was with Bobo in the beginning.
The skinny one who gets poked in the eye.
He just keeps popping up here and there, and it's pretty cool.
You can totally see like where his bald cap ends and his real scalp starts. It's like bunched up underneath the bald cap.
It's pretty funny. And I want to say like in this like Robert Patrick's performance is pretty good. I mean he's a good actor, but he really made me kind of scared of that character.
He's got those sort of like he has that really intense stare. That's why you got him. They got him for fucking Terminator.
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
be sort of equally imposing. And he's doing all he can. He's like, all I want to do is like dominate a major American city. Is that too much to ask? Like,
he's almost like a satire of like it's almost like they try to make a satire while making it serious, because he is like the biggest kind of fu to like at the same time the way he's acting. Like when there's that part, there's like the part at the end where he gets taken over and like, in his body. It just seems really cheesy. Like at those parts, the whole thing's cheesy, but they don't really pull any punches with like their imagination.
I think it's just more distracting because he's arguably the best actor in the whole movie.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't think there's anyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
But other takeaways. I'm not sure, man. There's just like cool little things that pop up, like the virtual.
There's good ideas, like visually. I really like, because again, LA is like plagued by earthquakes, so they have all of these big ass hydraulic braces.
Oh yeah,
like in the middle of the street,
in the middle of the
street to keep the buildings from falling into each other. So I'm like, yeah, again, these are cool ideas.
It's another aftershock, and then I think they show it in the beginning when they have the little tournament in the weird ass
the fight club. It's like the You Got Served warehouse. Yeah,
but it's super official. And and their car, like the little station wagon, was cool. The dragon wagon.
Oh yeah,
And
they did call it the Dragon Wagon. Yeah.
But yeah, the medallion's sick. I always wanted like one of those little double dragon medallions, and I don't know. It was always a cool like. I'd never really played the game, but I watched the cartoon and this movie.
Oh yeah, there
so
was a cartoon. Yeah,
there was
this
a
was a
cartoon,
whole
yeah.
this was a whole franchise. Honestly, they like crossed over with Battletoads and
Mhm.
everything.
Pretty
Yeah.
slept on. Like it wasn't super popular, even when it was like I think
Well,
in
it
the
was kind
time.
of on the. It was one of the really like OG
Yeah.
side-scrolling beat 'em ups, but they kind of, I think they sort of really made the formula what it was. Like before, you could just go left and right, but I think Double Dragon, you could kind of go like in all
Mhm.
directions. And then Konami, and I think Taito might have developed that, but then Konami and Capcom come in with their
Mhm.
Final Fights, their Ninja Turtles, their Simpsons, and they kind of those are the ones
Simpsons,
much
yeah.
just really much more slick. Double Dragon, iconic for sure, a little sluggish though when you play it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Yeah,
It's not. I have it on that Xbox.
yeah, yeah.
It's all right.
Do you have the version where? Because I think it's in the arcade. I mean, maybe it's in both versions, but yeah. So you fight to the end and you rescue Marion, and all of a sudden she's like, "But I can only choose one of you." So then you have to fight to the death. You have to fight each other to see who ends up with Marion.
I never played.
Yeah.
I never played it all the way through. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure
yeah.
which.
I
I'm sure.
heard-
I
I
think
heard
both
about
of them
that.
are in there. I'm sure
Yeah,
both of them are there.
because that was the thing. I wasn't like nobody really. Neither of the brothers actually get with her at the end, right? It just seems like
No.
they're friends. Like it's really ambiguous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a very platonic triangle, which is nice. You don't always see that.
Because it's implied that they already know each other when they first come to see her. Like they went to her to like they already knew each other, and maybe I don't know. It didn't like have us dwell on it too much. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. There's no You would think like it's the younger one, Billy and her. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's
Well,
that
actually,
there's that
they
time
were actually married in real life too. So like,
Oh,
I'm
really?
surprised they
Okay.
hadn't like alluded to that. But yeah.
Interesting. I had no idea because he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
I mean, once you get that party of five money,
Mm.
you're
Wasn't
good.
Nev Campbell on that show too?
Yes, she was. Yeah, the hottie hot from Party.
Nev Campbell?
Duh. And I think he wound up on Riverdale or something. He wound up on a CW show recently. So,
Okay.
good for him. You got to get a second career. When you're like a sort of, most teen idols kind of come back around and get another bite at the apple once they're in
Yeah.
their middle age.
He's like a poor man's Ralph Macchio.
A poor man's Ralph Macchio and a rich man's Jason Marsden.
Yeah,
I guess,
mixed in with a little.
Yeah, there was a little Daniel LaRusso in there for sure. Like, he's very cocky and just kind of cocky and impulsive and stuff. I could see that.
Who's the middle? Who plays Jack Lawrence? Who's the
Oh,
middle
Matthew.
Lawrence
Oh, yeah,
brother?
Matt
Yeah,
Lawrence.
Maybe a hint of Matt Lawrence in there, like
A
from
little bit.
Superhuman Samurai Matt Lawrence, not
Yeah.
not
Not
the
not Brotherly Love Matt Lawrence or Boy Meets World Matt Lawrence.
not Castaway knows how to get away on a ship. Matt Lawrence.
Jumping ship, man. You mean the movie where he's a total survivalist badass?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he has a
With-
beard too.
He's got a beard and like sick ass sun bleached hair
God.
just to make
Yeah.
it like
Does he have
it's-
puka shells?
he might have. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that again. Horse sense and jumping
Or-
ship. What a twofer.
Dude, I almost said horse ranch. That one's my.
Horseradish.
That's kind of a. We could even talk about those one day.
Let's do some decoms, bro. Let's do it. I love
yeah.
those.
Those are fun, but they don't have one of my favorites, so I have to
Paper-
find
Paper
it. I'd have to
Brigade?
find it for you.
Paper Brigade. Or-
Paper Brigade and that movie Flash.
Oh, the one. Yeah, that's all. The one with the kid from Tokyo Drift and the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they
I've
don't have
seen
that on
Flash.
Disney
That
Plus,
movie is
but
so sad.
Yeah, I liked it. It was one of my
It's
more
probably.
favorite
I think it's in
Disney
parts on
ones.
YouTube. I always watch. I always
Mhm.
think of the part where he's just dumpster diving and he's about to like try to eat. He finds a sandwich, like a styrofoam thing, and he's like, "Oh,
Oh,
good. I
burger.
hope there's a sandwich." But then there's like ants all over it. But no, the part where he like sneaks the burger from the fat guy in the diner. That was like that burger. I was like, does that burger look really good, or is it only because he's hella skinny and dirt poor and
Both.
all he's got in life is his horse
That he stole.
from the rich kid?
Yeah.
Oh god, that movie is so damn depressing.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Double Dragon. I don't have too much more about it. Like, it's just a really fun movie for me. I haven't seen it like in full in years. I don't rewatch it again because I kind of remember most of it. So it's always it stuck with me. I still have the VHS. Um,
Good. Any special sauce candidates? I mean, Robert Patrick is kind of just the default for me. For me, it's like Robert Patrick, but also just the production design. Again, like the earthquake braces and the matte paintings of, flooded Chinese theater. And like, oh, it flooded to the point where the Hollywood sign's just right there now in your face, like at your eye level.
yeah. I the set design is a big one. I might have to go with that. Because that's a big part of why I watch the movie is because of how it looks.
Yeah, that's true.
And even though I said like visuals aren't really what gets me, but for this one, combining the visuals is what makes it stick.
It makes it easier to swallow.
Yeah, it makes you like realize what they're going for, and and when you're a kid, it kind of takes you out of like what the normal was. So it was cool. It was
it's
good.
it's a flight of fancy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very creative set, and they made it look kind of real. Whatever.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say that
like
the matte paintings were pretty good, or at least like well implemented. For a second,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, is this like this actually does like this is what LA would look like if it was all flooded and everything.
Well, then they try to make up for it. Like when they're when they fall in the river and they're like, ugh, it looks like a gross ass river, but they say, oh no, it's a lot of sludge from the whatever, but it's just a nasty ass river.
They try to give you all the context. Yeah.
Yeah. So. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, sounds good. Well,
Shout out Mark Dacascos.
Thanks again, Mark Dacascos. You're holding it down. You and Dante Bosco single-handedly held it down for the Filipinos in the '90s. So thank you for that.
He's still going. I think he was in the movie a few years.
Oh,
ago.
like I told you, he threw down with Keanu Reeves for like 20 straight minutes in John Wick 3.
Damn,
he's like
minutes,
it comes at the tail end of the movie, so I'm a little burnt out on fight scenes at that point, but it's still pretty cool.
I mean, Agent Smith didn't even go 20 minutes with Neo, so
nope. Okay, so well, that was Double Dragon for you. That is currently available on Amazon Prime, free Prime Video if you have that
they're not
benefit.
Paying us. But yeah, it's hard to find. So
yeah, otherwise get it where you can, because this one is mine's not streaming anywhere right now, but I highly recommend it. So my pick is 1994 Street Fighter, written and directed by Steven E. D'Souza, who I looked it up. This guy, he wrote Commando, The Running Man, Die Hards 1 and 2, Beverly Hills Cop 3, Judge Dredd. So he's got like an action pedigree.
Can I just say before you start, like, isn't it funny how sometimes you hear like some like directors you really like, they make these movies that are kind of floppy. Like when you said Die Hard, like they're pretty iconic. But when you say, oh, that guy also made a Street Fighter,
yeah.
Like, okay.
Well, also it's like
there's a few directors like that, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I'm like, what? They made that? Okay.
I mean, when your focus gets pulled, like again, he like wrote and directed. So this movie was honestly like a really, really fucking interesting backstory. I was doing a little bit of a deep dive on IMDb. So this stars, well, for one thing. Some would say that the accuracy of this movie to the game, which is like, arguably one of the most iconic video games of all time. This was probably my earliest video game memory of Street Fighter 2. It was either that or Super Mario World, because the kid who lived across the street from us had a Super Nintendo. So this game meant a lot to me. I was never great at it, but it's just so iconic, and it was a big part of my childhood growing up. And watching this movie, you'd think, like, how the hell did this, pass inspection? Like, there's a lot from the games that just didn't translate one-to-one. But apparently it turns out Capcom, so this was made for, like, $30-something million, $35, I think, million. Capcom provided most of that money, most of the budget, on the grounds that they had final say in every aspect of the movie. So it's kind of interesting when you're like, really? Like, you guys were okay with that?
Yeah. That kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, then if you're a hardcore fan of this game, and I guess if you're one of those people that say that they probably got mad at the movie company, you better do your research.
Yeah, so Capcom was, and I'm wondering if they I'm wondering if they had the same amount of involvement in like the Resident Evil films and whatnot. But that's a whole other thing because I haven't actually seen those. So
I guess at the time, I don't know. I should take that back. I was gonna say, did they even know how successful Street Fighter was gonna be at that time? I mean, they could have just thought it was gonna be like a hype.
I mean, this was kind of at the height of the series, though. They'd already done like Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, Turbo, Championship Edition, Hyper Fighting, whatever. So this was
it's almost at the peak.
This was definitely at the height of sort of fighting game mania. Mortal Kombat was blowing up. Tekken was just around the corner. But I will say actually a pretty good amount of fan service and Easter eggs, just to give it to you, like, oh, there's that thing. There's, there's the Buddha.
Like Chun-Li in the beginning?
Yeah, Chun-Li, Chun-Li is
the news anchor or something.
Yeah, Chun-Li is, played by Ming-Na Wen, who, is kind of everywhere these days. So this is one of her like earlier film roles. Okay. They managed to and at least I've seen a couple other fighting game movies. I've seen both Mortal Kombat. I've seen the live action Tekken. As far
There's
as
a live action Tekken?
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
What the fuck?
The funny thing though is Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. Your soul is mine. That guy. He actually plays Heihachi in the Tekken movie, so he gets two bites at the video game apple.
Who's better to play Heihachi than him?
Exactly. So I'm fine with it.
Than Johnny Tsunami himself.
Precisely. What the hell was I saying? So let's just talk about the cast of this movie, man. Like,
can we start
this movie? This is
steals the show.
This is a fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme vehicle who allegedly spent roughly $10,000 a week on cocaine during the production of this movie.
Oh, it shows, dude. Is this not his best performance in a movie?
You are
as far as going all in with the character.
I was gonna say, because I really wanted to get your thoughts on this, because you're much more you're more of a student of Van Damme's filmography. Like, is he a one-liner guy? Is he the kind of guy who does that? Because here it looks like he's just really trying to do his best.
Not like
his best Schwarzenegger in this whole movie.
Not like that. No. He's like a very similar to like Bruce Wayne in the Nolan films. In his movies, he's very noble. He wants to do right, and he's very serious. I think of Kickboxer, and I think of Bloodsport. Universal Soldier is a little later for me. I wasn't too big on those kinds of movies. Like Sudden Death, I think it's called Sudden Death.
Double Impact. Is that the one where there's
Double
two
Impact.
of them? Right.
Yeah. Double Impact might be a little more like in this realm, but like those other movies, he's very serious. He's a little goofy looking, but he's intense, but very reserved. Nothing like this, and I just really liked everything he did.
It's like it was all everything he said was
great.
A one-liner and shit. What was it?
Terrible one-liners at that.
What was it? He's like, Sagat's like, this isn't over, Guile. I own this city. And he goes like, oh yeah? Well, I'm the Repo Man, and you're out of business. Like, I could tell like his act, like I hope you'd think it was like he was hosting SNL and reading this shit off of cue cards. Like he was reading, like he was saying these lines for the first time out loud.
When they're talking about invading the island with the boat, and the guy's like, to invade this one. Just with one boat, one must be out of his mind. And Jean-Claude Van's like, well, he has driven me crazy.
Luckily, Bison has driven me crazy. He they will not the primary force will approach from the north or something. Yes. It sounds like, and I know he's Belgian, but it almost sounds like Swedish in a couple parts or something like that. Like, Jesus it's Christ, Fucking dude. Nuts, yeah. And that dude, that guy who was like Colonel, blah, 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 like he was just this really popular actor from Japan who was in the movie because he was supposed to be, how like every fighting game has a Bruce Lee essentially, like Tekken has Law, etc. Street Fighter has Fei Long, but that guy replaced Fei Long because people thought he would be quote too generic. Like Capcom thought he wouldn't translate. Like
Okay.
so I was like, okay, but
I see it. I mean, I don't like those kinds of characters.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'm just I honestly like I wanted to write down lines of dialogue, but I feel like I would have just wound up writing down the entire movie. Like I'm okay.
It's a gold
just
mine of
dead.
I think there's like a scene with Bison in the beginning, where someone charges him and he like sidesteps him, and it's just some cool shit. And there's like a scene at the end where like they're watching through like the monitors, and what's his name? He's like, "Time to change the channel."
Oh, Zangief,
like
man. Yes. I'm like, yeah, like this movie is somehow even more cartoonish than Double Dragon.
It's very meta at the same time.
Yeah.
Like with stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's a way better movie than Double Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's. I mean, come on. Without even trying, it's way better.
It really is, and I mean, yeah, for me, I think this movie. I think I saw this movie for the first time when I was maybe in the 3rd grade, and at that time, I think I was just I was in martial arts for a few months, but I was playing a lot of Street Fighter at the Boys and Girls Club or at home. So the fact that there was a Street Fighter movie that definitely just made me lose my shit. Right. And I think it was the first time, like. I remember just really identifying with the actor who played Ryu, or as they constantly pronounce. Was it okay when you were growing up as a kid? Was it Ryu or Ryu? Like I pronounced it Ryu for the longest time, so I'm definitely in that camp.
Whenever I learned that the actual way was to say Ryu, from what I gather. I don't know. I didn't play Street Fighter. Like I wasn't one of those. It wasn't one of the games I played. I didn't have the systems for it, and by the time like it resurged, I was already a little older, and I was more playing like Tekken and fight night games like that. So
for sure.
It totally missed me. It's like the time, like that age, like 2nd grade. That's when I saw Double Dragon, I think. So it just and Mortal Kombat. So it just didn't catch my attention because I never really I never played it. But it's pretty dope. It's pretty fun when I do play it. And this movie, I'm really upset that I didn't see it when I was younger. Cause
I think you probably would have eaten it up. I would
have watched it so many more times by now.
Yeah, I mean, you got and yeah, as I was saying with Ryu, like I was already a fan of like Jackie Chan and stuff at that time, and like I knew Jet Li was a thing, but I think this is my first time seeing like, oh, this is an Asian martial artist like who's not one of those guys, and he was he was my favorite character, so I like kind of identified with that, and he is. Because, so like at least he was kind of the moral center of the movie, I would say, especially in his Ken, who's not blonde at all and like has like very little.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I know you don't. I don't understand. I know it's like who's this like brown-haired Charlie Sheen wannabe looking guy?
Who's this guy? Looks like Johnny Cage after the guy that replaced Johnny Cage in the second.
Yeah, for real. That's a good point.
No, I felt that way about Robin Shu, like an Asian like martial artist kind of actor who wasn't like Jackie Chan or big time.
Great hair, Farrah Fawcett hair. This man is a beggar.
So,
Go Bay.
What else happened in? Oh yeah. That's his name in Beverly Hills Ninja.
I mean, I thought like just a lot of this was just kind of dope. I don't know, like. The way they actually got a dude to do like Vega's little backflip, and there's actually obviously with Street Fighter it's like a global tournament, so like it's a pretty diverse cast, and there's like 2 Samoans in this. Like they made E Honda like Hawaiian Samoan, and I think now on and
next time you go, can you bring back a pizza?
I think Vega was also Samoan too, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. Next time you leave, bring back a pizza. Do you remember that when he's
I just realized the line too, and he's like Honda, give me a hand. He's like, dude, we've only been in jail for 2 hours, maybe next month. And I'm like, ew. I just realized what that meant.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
This is pretty funny.
Let's give the man credit where credit is due. Look at Raul Julia, just like Gomez from the Addams Family, just rocking this movie while like knowing he was on borrowed time with stomach cancer. and he only made this movie because like he wanted his kids to like enjoy a movie that he was in. So good for him. Yeah,
that's pretty
and he's
admirable,
chewing the scenery like it's no like it's. I mean, it was his job, but he's just so watchable in this.
What else is there?
Where he's like, every bison dollar will be worth 5 British pounds. That is the exchange rate the Bank of England will agree to once I've kidnapped their queen. Or just the whole, like, it was Tuesday. Like, that's so good.
Yeah. That must have been the greatest day of your life.
Like, for the most memorable day. Like, for me, it was Tuesday.
But it's funny he remembers it too, so it defeats the purpose of him even saying that.
Exactly. And the way he fucks with Sagat, he's like, Guile's alive. He's like, yeah, I guess you didn't see that, did you? And then I think he like scoffs. He's like,
I am a god. Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild, dude.
It really is.
It's weird because like, you know, like Ryu's like the main character in the game, but I didn't feel like he was the main character in this movie.
Oh no, not at all. So that was Well, you know, again, like JCVD was like at his height still, or he was hot shit, and
everything about him makes me laugh. Even the tattoo on his arm of the United
like
States
he's clearly Belgian, but he still has what looked like it didn't even look like a temporary tattoo. It looked like they just It looked like they stenciled it.
It looked like they put a piece of like fruit roll up on his arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick there. It's.
Your ass is 6 months overdue, and it's mine. I can't even do
about like this movie, man. It's I knew it existed. I heard it sucked, so I never watched it. So I can't say that it sucks.
It's certainly it's in a delicious way. It's like eating again, like movies like this. It's the equivalent of eating Little Caesars. There's so much better pizza out there, but if it's there, I'm not gonna turn it down.
Oh, for sure. It's like
I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah. What's my little vice like that? Fucking cheesecake or something. I mean, Safeway cheesecake. I don't know. I wouldn't even know if this is as good as that, but it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, it totally is, and like
I can't say much about it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of funny shit. Like, so apparently, like, the fight choreographer was actually a really famous martial artist. Like, I think he fought Jackie Chan in 3 different movies. Like, I think he fights him in Mr. Nice. You've seen not Mr. Nice Guy, in Who Am I? The one where he has amnesia.
No, but I have seen Mr. Nice Guy.
Okay, yeah, but he's in some like more of his 80s ones, but like he's this really famous kickboxing champion who was the fight choreographer, but I guess they were stretched super thin due to the fact that I think $8 million of the $35 million budget went to Van Damme's paycheck, and they had to work out the timing.
Half of that went to cocaine.
Probably. And they had to work out the filming schedule because Raul Julia was battling cancer, so he had to he needed time to sort of put weight back on for the fight scenes and stuff. So apparently a lot of these fights were not choreographed until like hours before they shot. So that's why like it's a little lackluster in certain respects. Some of them
I liked it though.
Yeah, I mean it was like they really commit to like how stagey the fighting is, you know?
Yeah, I didn't go into this movie looking for really good
choreo
fight scenes.
No, of course not.
But I think if I was a kid, I would have.
Oh no, I ate this shit up. Like even the fact that you don't actually see a Hadouken, but the fact that he just like, because you know, I certainly grew up like mimicking Hadouken, Kamehameha hands like my whole childhood. So to see it in a movie, to see him do it, and especially because he's finally like getting the one up on Vega after he like slashes him, Bruce Lee. Like even though they just flash the screen and they just put like a like sound effect. For me, I used to rewind that and play it back again because I was like, oh my god, that was it. They did it.
It was very reminiscent of you know, like in Mortal Kombat, Liu Kang could shoot flames. For some reason, and I think in the first Mortal Kombat movie at the end where he hits Shang Tsung off the tier and he
At
falls
the
on the
very
spike.
end. Yeah,
There's like
yeah,
some shit that comes out of his hand and it's
yeah.
very subtle. Like no one ever acknowledges it. And I'm like, whoa,
Hmm.
that's like him shooting the little fucking
Yeah, the
fireball.
signature moves, and then he does the
Yeah.
bicycle kick earlier too when
Oh
he's fighting
god,
Reptile.
that's like the worst thing I've ever seen in the movie. I can't. I couldn't. I hated that.
That POV shot of him
Yeah.
coming at the camera with his legs kicking out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the shadow kick effect that Johnny Cage had that he always missed. But anyways, fuck that. Street Fighter. What else? What do we got?
I was just gonna say like Kylie Minogue, the way she yells, medics,
Oh god,
medics.
I totally forgot about Kylie Minogue. She's Australian, right?
She is Australian, yes.
Okay, yeah. They have a lot of good cinema out there in Australia. Just fun fact.
Well, there's a lot of soap operas out there, so I think that's where a lot of
Yeah.
folks come from. Like the Hemsworths all came out of the soap opera scene in Australia. Giles' speech, just the whole like, but we can all go home. It's so good. Like
You got paid?
that dude, DJ's pretty. That guy who plays DJ's. He was Joanna Man. Did you recognize him?
Yeah.
Like the way he the way like his like what the fuck face, and the way he like leers at the belly dancers at the bazaar. And I did, as far as we're like, hey, this looks familiar. So this movie did the battleship Batman Forever scene before Batman Forever, with him like setting off the mines to blow up the boat. Yeah.
Okay.
And the fact that he literally like on his floating platform, it's literally just the control stick to the video games. I'm like, are you serious right now?
when did Street Fighter come out? The movie? What
The
year?
movie? 94.
Okay, and what Batman Forever was like 95, right?
Yeah, like
It's
a
not
year.
too much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Interesting. Oh man, I would never read a comic book. Okay, so yeah, I like this movie way better than Double Dragon. Like when I objectively look at it, it's just so much more fun. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, to
Yeah.
me, just totally puts it together. And before I forget, I would say the secret sauce is all the one-liners for me.
Yeah, it's just it's oddly quotable. If you really just give it a chance, I think
I
was
need another watch to get
when
it
I was
more
ta-
to
yeah
get
when
the
I was
quotes.
taking karate, I took 2 semesters of karate at Skyline, and like you
Oh,
know
nice.
oddly one of the guys in my class, like I think he knew this movie too, so we were just always like, yeah, we're always like, you got paid. Like
Okay. You took karate at Skyline,
I did, yes.
like as an adult.
Yes, as an adult. The only 2 semesters. I missed most of the second semester because I hyperextended my thumb sparring.
Oh
But
shit!
I enjoyed it a lot. It was
It's good. It's good stuff for you, man.
Yeah, it did a lot for me. And I think our final was always you had to like perform a kata as your final, and I almost had like a perfect score, and I missed one step, and like I felt so because everyone was hella egging me on, like they were all like, oh my god, he's doing it, and like the one thing I missed, I could hear everyone wince. But
Oh,
it was but no, that made me feel good though too, especially because I was kind of bouncing back from my thumb injury. But yeah, I was like, oh, they all saw how hard I was working. So
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
And yeah, I'm just trying to see like, let's see. I think that's really pretty much it. Like I don't have too much. Like it's just dumb fun. Again, it really does. I said this before, but yeah, it just feels like both of these feel very Saturday morning cartoon. Like it feels very G.I. Joe, with just the number of characters, and everyone has a quirk and everyone like that. And I mean the lair, that I always wonder if that was one big soundstage, because I was like, that's a pretty dope set. Like just that big ass room with like the monitor wall and everything like that. Yeah, and the pit, the hostage
Probably
pit.
was.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Both these movies. What I liked about it was just the effort that everyone gave. I'm not saying like they all gave like 100% and it should be like the coolest
But I never got
but
I never got the sense that anyone was phoning it in.
Right,
Like, people
right.
they
That's what
were
I was
really
getting
going.
at.
The performances are very earnest.
Yeah, they did a good job. It was organic. They're both very organic movies to me. Um, whether that's good or bad is subjective. It's up to you guys to really say so or not. But these are movies I enjoy. I wish I had Street Fighter in my library already, but now I have it. I can watch it anytime I want, and I plan on doing that again pretty soon. To be honest, um, I'm as a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, I'm pretty pretty disappointed that I haven't
I was
seen
gonna
this one
say,
yet.
is it worthy of like the rest? Is it? I mean, it's no kickboxer, it's no blood sport, but is it at least for you? Like, do you feel like it's up to those standards?
Yeah, because like those movies are pretty cheesy. When you get
True.
down to it, like he didn't do anything as cringy in this one as he did like in Kickboxer, where he just starts dancing in the middle of
Yeah, that's where
a
he
village
starts.
in Thailand. Yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
surprised that's not more of a famous meme. You know what I mean? Like it's just very
That's a very iconic GIF though.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't do anything like that in this. So no, this might give him the edge over performance wise. I think it's his best. His effort and being creative and just being a what do you call it? A performer,
Leading man.
like, lead man. And not just being like a martial arts guy. That was always kind of like his go-to. Of course, he's a martial arts guy, but he's not. That's not his shtick in this movie. He's a gung ho, fucking
Colonel.
soldier. Yeah, colonel.
Yeah.
And he's great. Yeah. Uh, it's gonna be a good Halloween costume too. When I think about it, you're gonna be the Jean-Claude Van Damme version of that character.
That's true. And they have the fact that they even had everyone stand together and do their little victory pose at the end. That's about as Halloween as it gets, dude.
Dude, is that what that is from? Is that from the game?
Yeah. I mean, like, if
Okay.
you win that's their you win.
That was cringy, but it was really cool. Like it made me laugh.
Again,
It was
it's
so
just
funny.
that this like the dumb fan service. Like, people want
Yeah.
to see this stuff, and it's like bare minimum at a certain point. But I was like, I still really dig it, because it's not trying to take itself too seriously at all. So like,
Right.
yeah,
And I think a lot of the fans, and I don't want to speak for them, but it sounds like that's what a lot of people wanted was like a serious
or like,
Street Fighter movie.
we
or-
want people, flying around and doing like spinny tornado kicks and shooting shit out of their hands. And they tried that later with the Chun-Li movie, and that shit didn't work apparently.
I mean, and look at the Final Fantasy flicks that they tried to do, and I don't know. It's not an easy thing to do. Bring
Yeah,
a video
like
game to life.
Yeah. We technically still haven't gotten like a really great one. I mean, Sonic was pretty good, but
I heard it was good.
Even that, yeah. As far as really just doing kind of a one-to-one thing, it's tricky.
Mhm.
But so kind of just go your own way with it.
Unless we just want them to like recreate the game itself, they're gonna
you can
make
just
a
play
new
the game.
story and do that. Yeah. So, these movies on my like personal level, I really like them. But I'm just kind of I'm kind of a different guy, man. Like I really like that kind of stuff. I like really like obscure kind of shot films, and these fit right into my taste of corny and kind of awesome at the same time.
That's a good way. That's a good way for it. And again,
What would the kids nowadays say? It's ironic.
uh, yeah, it's ironic. I don't really like this. I'm being ironic.
Yeah.
But here, I think that's what kind of sets us apart. We earnestly own our love for how shitty this stuff is. So
Yeah, and like it's to the peak. I don't even think it's shitty, but like but there's a reason why we call it that, and we're gonna have to expand on that more.
we will.
dive deeper
Again,
into other
we're
movies
gonna
and
do
stuff.
more shitty movie showdowns. There's always room for that. I need a platform to talk about Wild Wild West and why everyone is wrong when they say they don't like that movie.
The shaman to Men in Black's Supernatural.
I guess, yeah, probably in that way, yeah, of course it's not that great, but it's still pretty good. So that's all I kind of really have to say. You kind of just need to experience the movie for yourself,
Yeah, we don't want to do too many spoilers this time.
Yeah. Just take it all in.
Yeah, it's an experience for yourself.
Seek it out and enjoy for yourself. So
Yeah, as someone that was not a fan of Street Fighter, because I
yeah,
just
a
lack
new
of
convert
exposure,
right there.
it's really doesn't make me want to play the game, but it makes me appreciate the movie. And I wasn't comparing it to anything because I had no idea like what it represented.
Well,
So
apparently
therefore,
the director said he's like it's James Bond meets Star Wars meets a war film, and I'm like, yeah, ish.
yeah. I don't know about the James Bond
But it's
part.
got like it's an ensemble, so if you like fucking Avengers movies, like it's like a crappy Infinity War. It's like yeah, it's like if Infinity War again, it's the Little Caesars to wanting I don't know whatever your preferred big name pizza chain is.
It's
That's your
similar
Infinity
to
War.
like Big Trouble in Little China with like
Yeah,
some of the character representations. Like Jack Burton could be just like Jean-Claude Van Damme's character, the way they
sure,
are.
sure.
Um, just totally overzealous, but they get it done. So, um, yeah, man. What do you think?
I think it's a tie fight. They're both perfectly solid. Go check it out. Check them
Yeah,
both out.
in their own ways, they're very fun. I think Street
Yeah.
Fighter might have a little bit of an edge over Double Dragon for me, but like Double Dragon is one of those things that keeps me young, which is why we do the show.
Precisely. So that'll about do it. And again, you guys are welcome. I think this is actually our shortest episode now. So, which I'm fine with. This is a bite-sized time, and go check them out. And
yeah, and we're also here to give recommendations of like, this is like stuff we like. That it we want you guys to like it too. We want to know if you like it at all. I hope you do, because we encourage people to open up their palate. Don't just go to the movies, or just don't only look at stuff on Netflix. Like don't like get off the algorithm.
Oh, that's true.
Open up your palate a little bit. Change. Go to a different. Go watch a different genre tonight.
Start your year on a shitty note. That's what we're trying to say here.
Precisely.
Yeah, but on shitty on your own terms.
We're the repo man.
Voluntary, yes, voluntary shittiness. All right, so I guess that'll about do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well,
I want to go watch this movie again.
Okay, sounds good.
I need to check it out.
Thank you again, everyone, for whether it's your first time or your third or fifth time checking us out. We really appreciate it. Again, just feel free to follow us on Instagram, 2 Old Souls Pod. Check YouTube, 2 Old Souls. Twitter, again, 2 Old Souls Pod as well. And just we'll keep you posted, and we'll keep on doing this as long as it entertains us and you guys show a mild amount of interest too. So, because at the end of the day, we're too old for this shit. Later. Oh, this is awkward. I lost the window. Oh, there it is.